Hello ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to my channel for another Hot Toys ACGHK figure preview video. Before we begin, I want to say a massive thank you to Ryan Kirkwood for coming out with me in person to the convention and snapping these gorgeous high-res pictures and these intro videos. Show Ryan some love in the comments below because without him, this series literally wouldn't be possible. When this figure eventually, or I should say, if this figure eventually goes up for pre-order, I will add some links to Pop Collectibles in the description below, along with the discount code Justin's Collection, for 5% off your order if you do decide to buy from them. I believe this is a very early prototype, so if and when they make changes to this before they put him up, we will do another figure preview video. This is just an early sneak peek at what they're working on. So far, I am impressed with certain things, but not others. The head sculpts are beautiful, no question. They're the same as DX13 though. They haven't updated the sculpts, and that's the number one most important thing that people care about is head sculpts. Yes, they're dope. Yes, they look like Arnie, and yes, we've got a moving eye situation with the eye that is exposed. Not a 2024 head sculpt and not a 2024 paint app. All of the accessories, everything else, I'm on board with, including the new display base, which we're about to get to. So the hands, to me, look exactly the same as the DX13 ones. That is not a bad thing. The gloves have this leather grain texture on them, and the flesh looks wet and glossy and nasty, and you can see some little bits of endoskeleton poking through. Will they go ahead and update the hands? Probably not. I don't think that is as necessary as updating the head sculpt is. When he was first shown at ACGHK and I popped up those very early pictures, they didn't have the rifle or the pole/spike on display, but it is here now in the cabinet alongside all of the rest of the stuff, so when they do make him, he probably will come with both of those pieces. And the handgun, and the shells, plus this. This is a new accessory specific for this guy. We didn't get this last time. And this one is probably the piece that got me most excited because if you have DX13, you can have him with the severed arm on, and if you decide to pick up the new one, you can have him displayed with a medical silicon seamless arm, and the detail on this is outstanding. The bicep is massive. This does look like Arnie's arm to me. The gloves have this cuff at the bottom, so they will sit over the wrist peg, and the arm will look entirely seamless. So this is the other head sculpt. It is the same as DX13. The paint applications are a bit flat looking by today's standards. If they just tweaked this a little and sculpted in the skin texture rather than just relying on the speckling on the surface with paint, this figure could really come to life. I'm not asking for an entirely new sculpt, you can still base it off this one. But maybe they were struggling with Arnie's likeness rights, and the rule was, just like Andrew Garfield's Spidey, you can only do this figure if you use old head sculpts, and okay, I get it, but tweak the paint or add some skin texture, something, just to make this look like a 2024 onwards head sculpt versus a much older one. Do weigh in down in the comments below, do you think I'm overreacting, or is it fine that they reused both head sculpts? The outfit, some people asked me when I leaked the pics if it was real leather. There's no sign or anything saying that it's genuine leather. From what I've seen in person now, maybe is the answer, because it is thicker looking to me than the previous one's jacket. But the leather grain is very, very small, so it's impossible to say until Hot Toys actually put this guy up for pre-order. This display base, dope. It lights up, it looks like the steel mill, it has a massive T800 nameplate around the front, as well as some diorama elements, one in the background, and then the railings on either side of the display base. The way they've done the caution tape, making it look like it's been scuffed and weathered and worn away, and then the rust work effect on the railing itself, all fantastic. This background as well is not cardboard. It looks like it's all sculpted, and that is a good thing. I'm sick of seeing cardboard backdrops from Hot Toys. Please sculpt these things. They don't have to be chonky and big and weighty. They can be thin. Still, have the illusion of depth, and that's exactly what that grate does for me. Right up front, it tricks me into thinking that the diorama is deeper than it looks. Very clever reuse of the quarter scale base mold. Unless they've gotten way better at sculpting plastic to look like actual material, which is possible, I think those boots are new and they look like they're made of either leather or pleather versus being sculpted plastic like what we saw last time. There is a lot of weathering all over this entire piece. More weathering than the DX13, I reckon. Now that I'm seeing a little sneak preview of that fabric, the underside of it next to the exposed endoskeleton knee, yeah, maybe that is real leather because the underside of it does look like that suede sort of texture that actual leather would have. Still, I'm not going to commit to saying that, just an early hunch. There are some bullet holes here and there. The flesh looks wet and glossy and gross, and there's even some arterial, thicker spray on top of the endoskeleton knee. Which, surprisingly, isn't painted in chrome. That's the one thing, the one really big upgrade that I would have liked to have had for a 2.0 DX13. Because the original was this flat silver metallic, and that just ain't right. Endoskeletons are supposed to be chrome. When light bounces off the surface, it's meant to look shiny and reflective, not dull and matte and just nowhere near shiny enough. The thing that could potentially convince me that chrome wasn't necessary is if the exposed endo bits are made of die cast. If they do that, I will forget all about the chrome, and then maybe they can do a 3.0 in the future. But you know what I'm trying to say? Die cast would give this piece that extra little bit of oomph that was missing from the DX13. That figure is a grail. This could be a grail killer if they either do die cast or chrome, real leather for the outfit, and new head sculpts. The diorama display base, no need to change that. The array of accessories, on board. Just those few little things that they have to do in order to make this the ultimate battle damage T2 Arnie. Will they do those things? Only they know that. We'll just have to sit back and patiently wait for them to eventually put this guy up for pre-order, or not. This might be one of those figures that they just display at a convention for the sake of getting us talking and excited, and then never end up releasing or making or putting up at all. I'm hoping that is not the case, because I'm a massive T2 fan. Arnie is the shit, and DX13 is incredible, so getting a 2.0 version of him, I would be all in. This is the second jacket, the battle damage one, because he's currently got the severed forearm on, and the detail on it with the bullet holes and being able to see the skin poking through, and then the little bits of hosing and wiring, whatever the hell you call that stuff, sticking out of the bottom of the arm. It all looks fantastic, exactly as it did with the DX13. I'm really struggling to think about what else to say when it comes to this piece, because it is very, very similar to what we got before. The destroyed version of the grenade launcher with the chewed up end part of the stock, which is what I currently have my DX13 displayed with in the collection. That little buckle does look pretty rusty. I am thinking that maybe that's literally just a DX13 one they've popped with this figure, and they'll go ahead and revise it later. I'm wondering if those levers are movable on the display base. So the head sculpt's still absolutely beautiful. I know I keep saying that they're really good and they're fantastic and whatever, the adjectives that I'm using to describe them, they're all positive, because these head sculpts are still some of the best that I've ever seen for Arnie. There's just not enough detail. The skin is waxy and smooth and glossy, and the skin texture and skin tone even, it doesn't match the neck. You can see how much more sculpted detail there is on the neck, and the skin tone is lighter. Back when they released DX13, everyone was tan. No matter which race you were. They just went default, same tan skin tone for RDJ, for Arnie, for anyone. They all had the exact same skin tone. This skin tone mismatch, that tells me that this is an old head sculpt on a new body. So stay tuned. I reckon they will be updating the heads eventually. Now, if you are looking to pre-order this, when it does go live, or if it goes live, I will pop a link to Pop Collectibles in the description below, along with the discount code Justin's Collection for 5% off your order if you do decide to buy from them. As always, do your own research, make sure you're comfortable before buying. If you are heading down to the description, why not hit that subscribe, bell notification icon, and join button if you like the sound of seeing your name in the end credits of my reviews. Like, comment, and subscribe. We'll catch you in the next video.